Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host tonight, and here we are to fight CPS and stop taking our children. I'm on twice a day. You found me on Facebook and fighting CPS, Bob Pace, fighting CPS. And you've come into one of the 8 rooms we have. This room here is the one I'm broadcasting live. And there are other 7 other rooms in here that are feeding into it. One is a YouTube room and so forth. So no matter where you find me, you all will come and all your comments will be here. So I want to give you a warm welcome. You've come to the right spot. And for the next hour, you're going to hear me talk about CPS and how I can help you. This is an interactive podcast. You just heard from my attorney, Vincent Davis, excuse me for a second. Who's talking about a question and answer podcast coming up on December 7th, the day of Pearl Harbor. And he's going to talk to you all at 9:30 that date. And he's going to talk to you about your questions and answers you may have for him. So it's very, 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 very important. Now, as I said, it's interactive, and Mr. Davis is the real thing. He is not only has 35 years as a dependency lawyer working in family law and juvenile law. That's the area of expertise you got to be in there. But he's also done He's also done lawsuits. When your case is closed, you can file a lawsuit against perjury or violating one of your civil rights or constitutional rights. And he's won millions of dollars, so he's able to do that. He's not afraid to fight CPS. A lot of attorneys don't want to touch CPS. And usually when you're trying to find an attorney, the best thing to do is 2 questions you have to ask the law firm. 1, are you a family juvenile dependency lawyer? And 2, have you ever fought CPS on a civil case and won? The answer to those questions is yes. I think you found the right spot. And that's where you have to get there. Now, you hear me use the word CPS. That I call the Child Protection System. It's an agency, an arm of social services that's mandated by Congress to protect our children from abuse and neglect. I seem to be having a lot of lag because my eyes are not staying open and they're closing and then they're delayed. So it looks like, try that again. And they're also supposed to give aid, such as food, shelter, clothing, transportation, medical, educational, and also find you a job. And furthermore, if they need to remove your children because of domestic violence, they're supposed to do what's called family reunification. And that seems to be on the back burner lately ever since President Clinton signed into law the Incentive Act, which encourages social services to close their cases sooner and put the kids in foster care. That's so they get money. They're given money if they close the case soon. They don't want to wait for family unification, because parents have to take classes. They have to take parenting classes and programs, and some are over a year. And I don't know why that Clinton thought that was really great, but maybe because of the delay power. But having them force and rewarding them with money incentive is wrong. First of all, they don't belong in foster care. The majority of the families, they belong with each other. It's proven that the best parents are the biological parents. And if the parents have done some screw ups, they can take parenting classes or programs and get themselves repaired or back on track. So anyway, I like to digress. Hi, Faye. I'm glad you came in here. Welcome. Faye is from Richmond, Kentucky. She's a single mom who was in foster care herself and in and out 5 times. And she is a very caring mother that really cares about fighting CPS. But unfortunately, not only was she raped and molested and forced as a punishment to stand on rocks with sharp pointy edges, she was in trafficking, sex trafficking. But somehow she made it all out there. She got her high school diploma. She got her nursing degree in college. So she became a nurse. And the sad part is that she had children. And her 2 children were taken from her. She did get to keep her son, but her daughter, who was only 8 and a half weeks old, her mother was going after her because her mother knows that the Child Protection Agency will pay incentives if, like, her daughter has special needs. And so her mother wants to use the money. She was only looking at her child as an income source. That's how bad her mother was. And I know that she loves her mother. She's a really good woman about that. But that mother really did harm to Faye. So she was had to choose between taking care of her special needs son, who, her daughter, and she picked her son. And the foster care people adopted the daughter at 8 and a half weeks old. And she's right now, I think, 12 years old or something. And Faye really misses her and wants her to know that she did not give up on her daughter, that it was not her choice. In fact, they thought Faye was so good, they gave her a weekend kid to watch. Her son, I think, was 15 at the time, and he was 14. But every weekend, he'd go home and live with Faye and her son. It's strange. She can take care of 2 foster kids, but can't take care of her own daughter. That's ridiculous. They're very, very corrupt out there. So anyway, as I say, you found this podcast, and you're in this room, and please use emojis and check the follow button and the notification button too. Send me stars. And so the next way you can interact with this podcast is that you can text in messages. All I ask you is to write a question or a comment about your CPS case, and that you say your first name, your city or county, and your state. Also, for all those out there that are in other countries, there's about 17 of you, please show your province and your country, because you may not have a state, you may have a province. But I welcome everybody that has a CPS case. This morning we had a girl from South Africa, and she was telling how horrible it was. Unfortunately, it is horrible. That's the truth. I'm not lying to you. Now, who am I? I'm a family man. I have 42 years of marriage and 6 children. 3 are older and grown up, and 3 are younger. Unfortunately, my in-laws, which are my wife's mother and father and sister and brothers, called in as soon as I lost my job in 2010. They called in social service from Ohio and made up stories that we weren't taking care of our kids. They were trying to undermine our kids and adopt our kids, because we had very disciplined kids, very beautiful looking kids, and they're well-mannered. I mean, anybody would love to have our children. And so foster care wanted to have all 3, but I hired Mr. Davis. He was my attorney, and we got back my 2 boys, but lost her daughter. And it really wasn't his fault, but it was still sad. It's really, really sad. Also, try to be complete with your case so I don't have to play ping pong ball with you. So you go back and forth. Now, the next thing you can do is the third thing is to be a guest on my podcast. I'm on Monday through Sunday, and I'm on at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in the morning and 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time at night. There are exceptions, like this coming Sunday, I'll be coming on at 8 o'clock because I got church. And then the following Saturday, the 7th of December, I'll come on early at 8 o'clock because Vince has got a show at 9:30. I don't want to interfere with his show. He has a show on the 7th of 9:30 that you all should see. Also, not this coming up, I have one more football game on Friday Night Lights. It's the state championships. And it's where my son's high school is playing for the state championships and still remain the number 1 ranking in the country. I'm broadcasting on my home, and I'm sorry if you're hearing background music. My neighbors just don't care, and they just play it whenever they feel it. But everybody knows I do my podcast, so they're trying to interrupt it. It's sad, but that is the case. Now, I believe on Saturday the 14th is the one I'll have to do early because I want to be there at 7 o'clock when the game starts. But I'll let you know if there's any changes in the times. Now, to be a guest on the show, you're going to contact Grace. She's our show producer, and she works hard. I want to thank her. All you have to do is email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. Grace at vincentwdavis.com. You email her with one of those 14 shows, and she'll get you set up. She'll send you the links. She'll tell you what to do and not to do on the podcast and how to adjust your sound and lighting and everything. Then you can be my guest. I have 9 spots for guests on my broadcast, me making the 10th one. So I encourage you to really put in your calendars for these important dates I've come up with and everything there. Now, lastly, the 4th way to interact is by calling my number. I am live, and if anybody wants to call in, I really hope that they do. My phone number is 626-698-0990. And it's open during my show hours. I cannot answer the call before my show or after my show. It has to be done during my show hour. Faye, if you can hear me, if you want to call in, you're welcome to call in, and we can talk together on issues. She does that a lot for me. She helps me have another voice on here talking about things. She's very intelligent. She knows exactly what she's doing. But keep in mind, if you're involved in social service as a child, they'll catch you again when you grow up and you're a parent. And nothing's more sadder than have your own children taken away from you with no rhyme or reason. So I just talked about how they interact in this podcast. Now, there are 5 rules. And the first one, of course, is get an attorney. You need an attorney to fight this case because without an attorney, you're not going to win. There's a lot of legal jargon that you need to know. You can try to fight it on your own or use a court-appointed attorney. Keep in mind, the court-appointed attorney, has a caseload of 30 more. They may not help you with your case, and they may not push it to have your children returned back to you. You need a pit bull like Vincent Davis that can sit there and know how to argue in the court and knows the laws and so forth. So the court-appointed attorney is not the right choice. You want to use your own attorney that you hire. Now, it should be an attorney that's in family law, that is in dependency law and juvenile law. Someone that's in criminal law will not help you, or real estate law, or workman's comp, or all the other ones. No, you want to fight. You want to fight CPS, and you got to fight them head on. They're very corrupt. Okay, I'm trying to adjust my camera angle. Maybe I need to clean my lens a little bit because maybe it's dirty. I don't know. Hopefully that was better, and you can see me on that. Now I have 5 simple rules I'll get over really quick, and then we can devote the rest of the podcast to your questions out there. Rule 1 is to get an attorney. We've already talked about that. By the way, if you want to retain Vincent Davis, just call 888-888-6582. Also, if you're a guest on my podcast or you call in and speak on the speakerphone, you qualify for a free 15-minute session with Mr. Davis. That's a Zoom session with him, and he'll talk to you about your legal case. In fact, Kimberly from Illinois did that, talked to him, and he ended up running longer than 15 minutes. So he would love to have you talk on a show. What you need to do is be a guest on my podcast or talk on my speakerphone. So that's really important to keep that in mind because you need the help of Mr. Davis. And if you want longer time than 15 minutes, let's say you want 30 minutes, I made a special arrangement with Mr. Davis to set up a website where you can go on, pay your fee. He has a $60 fee for 30 minutes. And he'll talk about your case more in depth than your Zoom one. And so I encourage you to go to the website that's listed on the bottom of my screen. And at the website, you're going to register and you're going to sign up for a 30-minute time with Mr. Davis. And that 30-minute time will help you with your case. It only costs $60. So you just go to that website and sign in. And then that way you can fight your case. Now, I have someone that just showed me an emoji. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Rosa. All right, welcome, Rosa. Now, besides rule number 1, have a real attorney. Rule 2 is to have a notebook to keep all your documents in place. Try to have subject dividers. Also, the most important thing out of the notebook should be your incident log. That's when you talk to social workers, police, or the school or whatever. What you do is you write down who you talk to, what the location, and the people involved. And then the next line you put down what the sentence, and make it down to one sentence, what the accusations are. And then the third sentence, the third line should be the outcome. And you may not know the outcome, so it may take a while. The door's open. Excuse me 1 second. The door's open, John. I'm broadcasting on my home, and that was my son who came home. I still have my family of 4 out of 8. I once had a family of 8, a mother, a father, and 6 children. And apparently, ever since this case got started in 2010, when I lost my job through no fault of my own, it's been a sadness that has eaten me alive. And I'm thankful that my 2 sons are living with me to take care of me and my wife. I have 42 years of marriage, and I'm a family man. I'm not an attorney, but I'm here to help you. And I do care about you like I care about Faye. She's a very special person. She's been instrumental in keeping my podcast going live here. So, as I was saying about these rules, we said rule 1 is get an attorney because, fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. Another example is if you ever know the story of Alice in Wonderland, she falls in a rabbit hole and meets the Chester cat who directs her from room to room that goes nowhere. That's what CPS is. It's a place that goes nowhere. They are not transparent. They will hurt you, and they will traffic your children. They will alienate your children, which is against the law. Traffic and alienation are against the law. Now, my third rule, real quickly, is you say no to social workers and no to the police. Do not answer the door. Furthermore, do not talk to them and do not give them up your children. There's only 3 ways to get your children or enter your premises. 1, they have to have your permission. If you don't give permission, they don't get in. 2, if domestic violence is going on and they have issues there, they may have to remove your children. And that's a temporary thing. Thirdly, if they have a warrant and they show you the warrant and you check it out, it's legit, then they can remove your children that way. The warrant's got to have special instruction and signature of the judge, and it has to have a date that's reasonable. They don't work on the weekends or on holidays. So if they have a date on those dates, that can't be a legitimate warrant. And that is all more or less a document that's issued by the courts when someone wants you to surrender something. So enough said about that. Now we have Leica from South Africa. Welcome back. I remember you this morning and yesterday, and it's so nice to see you back, like in Hartzenberg. And she's from the west coast of South Africa, the Cape area, and she had a horrible CPS case, and she wants her parliament, since she's from South Africa, they don't have a Congress, they have a parliament, and she wants that parliament to know how bad CPS was in South Africa. And so I'm so glad that she's making the call in and everything. She further says, I can't take it more. I need to call in. I'm busy making a plan to call later. I know you are. Don't feel rushed. Remember, our country code is 01. And then my number for you is country 01, then 626-698-0990. And I'd love to have you talk about your case, Leica, because you sound like a good mother who went through a lot. You're just, what you shared with us the last couple of days is unreal, and I thank you for coming back again. So I was talking about rules, and we were finishing off, don't talk to social workers. They got to have a warrant. When you meet them or see them, an easy way to get out of it, of talking to them, is say, hey, look, I need to get my attorney present because of the legal matters, and I'll get back to you the date and time we can meet. Don't meet at their office, and don't meet at your home. You want to meet someplace they can't fish, such as some type McDonald's or Starbucks. And that way you can, you find the keys?
Oh, I just looked at the CPS.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Forgot what I was going to say here. Yeah, so you don't want to talk to social workers. Tell them if you meet them outside that you can get back to them and meet them at Starbucks or McDonald's, a public place where you can record. Furthermore, watch out trafficking. Medical trafficking is where they take your kids and they're at the hospital or the emergency room or urgent care. And you want to be careful to get your child home. No one can take your child. Remember, I told you have to have a warrant or your permission, or they have to be in extreme danger. My 3 children were not in danger. They were taken illegally. It's wrong what they did to my children. They did a lot more damage than good. Now, Leica says that she doesn't sleep at all, awake the whole night, and I have to have heart failure for 4 years now. I'm so sorry for you, the experience in that. I know what it is. I've been woken and stay awake. I tell you, it's the worst thing to go through. It affects me. And every night I talk my case, and I've already had over 700 podcasts. I've been doing this for over a year, twice a day. And so they're all recorded. And if there's anything you miss, you can find it there. And so we were talking about medical trafficking. Don't forget women that are pregnant. Someone that works at the hospital try to take your child. Don't give it to them. They need a warrant. Tell them to stay out where you're giving birth. It's ridiculous what links that CPS goes to try to trick people on getting their children and everything. Now, my second to last rule is Rule 4. That's where you have to go on the internet and spend your time researching the internet. Try to put your city and then your state and the letters CPS and then what in CPS you want to know about. And you'll find a wealth of information. Spend at least 60 hours. It'll save you time. It'll save you time. Now, Leica Hartzenberg says, yes, an extra 0 must be in the front, I found out. Oh, boy. Yep. Lycan further writes from South Africa, they took my daughter and had a warrant, but they lied. I was the one who went first to the CPS, and they twisted my words until today they have no proof of what I said. I asked for the phone record. Good girl. Good girl. You did. All right. And see. Leica further says, Leica further says, but they said there was no recordings that day. That's terrible. They're going to lie. You can't trust social workers. You can't trust social workers. Faye, did you want to call in about anything? We are halfway through the show. I think I pretty much covered all the rules. Oh, I forgot a really important rule. Rule number 5 is you want to put together a folder or an envelope of all your personal records, like your marriage certificate, your birth certificates, your children's birth certificates, their social security card, driver's license, shot records, your grade reports for your children. You want to put all that into a folder and save it and take it with you wherever you have to deal with CPS. And, that goes with also what you have to say, too. So it's really important that you hang on to those records. They can be copies, but so many people have lost their records, and they're really important, especially if you want to know about the birthing of children. Now, what else did Leica said? I'm making plans to call in. It'll be soon. I know, Leica, and I look so forward to having you as my guest. Faye says something right now. What do you have to say, Faye? You want to call in? Okay, tonight she's just listening. And I'm glad you are listening because Faye has a wealth of information. So for the next half an hour, if any of you like to call in, my phone line's open. And you can call in at 626 698 0990. Now, there's another number on the screen, that 888-888-6582. That's the number of my law office. You want to retain Mr. Davis, you can call that number. Make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. And when you speak to Mr. Davis, tell him that Bob Pace sent you. It's really important he hears that. Now, you're going to find out that CPS is really corrupt. They're going to lie to you. I always talk about some examples of how bad CPS is. There's the Pink Ladies of Prescott, Arizona. And these ladies paraded around with red T-shirts that had the word stenciled, professional child kidnappers, on the back. They had said, parents, you know where your children are at. And they paraded around like this in Prescott till they were caught and they were fired along with the director. But that hurt the department because they're down to one person. And one person run the whole area is really tough. Now, that example, those social workers, 8 of them, 8 female social workers paraded around and said that horrible message. Now, in my case, for 5 years, my in-laws were constantly complaining that we weren't taking care of our children. I did not know it was them. See, those are lay people. And I think all complaints should be made in writing and signed to with a phone number, how they can be reached. Otherwise, it's not a valid complaint. Too many people, when they hear it, are putting it away, but they're not to be. They need to be actively involved if they're going to follow something or be with somebody on there. Now, Lisa said some more things here, so I need to catch up. Lisa's quite a talker. Okay. Lisa further says CPS has an obsession with power. Yep, that's a good way to point them out. I don't disagree with you on that. There was a CPS case in Wales that called in, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, we're supposed to be protecting our children, not cause them grief or bodily harm. There's adult people that are pedophiles, adult people that these children are put into that should not have been put into them. Okay. So my number's up there. Please call me during my show hours. Do not call before or after. I cannot accept the calls. I've told you about my 5 rules. I told you about how they react. And there are special topics I can talk about. It's like, I don't know if you ever heard the ICWA law, the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978. It's a law that mandated that CPS must see if the children are Native American Indians. And if they are, they're supposed to be turned over to the tribe, and the tribe will do family reunification. So that was one of the changes there. So you need to know about the ICWA, the children ICWA, because now they're supposed to be rounded up and then put into foster care families. Yeah, let me see here. Okay. I think what we do is I'm going to look at Core's Digest a little bit. Core is a software application. They have short comments about a case, and then they have an answer. So what you do is you pick one, and then they have an answer. Now let me see something here. Well, I am looking for it, and I don't see it yet. Okay. Well, that's very strange. I had Core Digest on here, and I just didn't somehow. It's either fallen off my web page or something in there, but I can type it in again. Core Digest has stories about CPS. That's what mine are geared to. Now, Core Digest is a daily email that contains a selection of questions and answers from Quora. It's sent to all users, and they've got to use it. I hope you gain knowledge and share the knowledge. It's a platform to ask questions, to connect with people who contribute unique insights and quality answers. Now, I'm going to go through and scout some of these CPS questions that may be something good here. I'm still looking in there. Okay. Here's another one. Has anyone had a good experience with child protection services? We always talk about the negativity, so maybe there is a example of good services. Now, here's a mother who's investigated by CPS. Her name was Zach Cherry. At the beginning of 8th grade, when I was 12, my mother took me out of school. I wasn't homeschool. I just hung out with her. She was unemployed at the time, hadn't been fired from her job at the hospital as an RN supervisor. We're living on 25 acres in the forest in an unfinished 2-story barn shell. We had no electricity or plumbing, not even an outhouse. The forest was a mixed species. Bathroom shared with bears. My mother also was a hoarder. We had 50 dogs and some farm animals. It was a mess. The county was after my mother, first for the building permit violations for living more. Now, Tunny, who's a former student, said it was the most disturbing experience I ever had. The workers have so much distrust in parents. I wonder if these parents have parents. They couldn't believe a single word from us as parents, but they believed the class teacher, our daughter, had eating problems. And even when she would finish her meal from the warmer, she also blamed it on the mummy daddy rain and start crying that life treats her so bad at 9 years old. They just pick her up from school and have no access for a month. The judge went on holiday too, so when there was a summons U.S. court, we had no idea. After hearing, we were granted. Okay, we are after hearing hearing, we were granted one. Now let's see some more here. Access to see her demonstrated, scared of us and rebel. She told the teacher had promised her toys if she talked ill of us. She held her by her hand from class 3 blocks away, told her to end a CPS office at school and talk what they had told her or never go back to her class. She told me it was scary. Good enough she had confessed to the psychologist. The judge stopped her case. Wow. That is a terrible feeling. Now, here's someone here, Linda Thornbird, who adopted 3 children from foster care. She's a single parent. Yes, it was my parent. My oldest and youngest daughter shared a father. The father is very seriously mentally ill and also a sexual deviant. There's no contract order in place that he chooses at times to ignore. My youngest had numerous disabilities and the time was 16. Her father sent a picture of his genitalia unprompted and unwanted. My daughter, understandably upset, says to the school. My dad sent me inappropriate pictures and showed them to me. That's bad. That's so bad. Let's see what else I can find in here. Here's another question. Has someone ever unjustifiably reported to Child Protection Services? What was the outcome? Yes, it didn't turn out well for the teacher who did it. My son's teacher would use CPS against any of her children whom she thought had any kind of discipline problems. And we're talking about 2 second graders here. Another item of note is that this was a rural area and we were one of only 2 sets of parents in the class who had college degrees. She accused our son of lying, among other things, too. We also knew how she dealt with them from other people. We both dealt with the federal government agency on a daily basis in our jobs, so we weren't intimidated by CPS and called them up to do an inspection on us. The CPS lady came out as we were stunned a bit by our house, larger and nicer than most in the area. Shock number 2, our infant and cat, 2 things you can't disguise in a stressful house, is infants and pets. That is true. You can't hide those. Let me go back to the room to see what's been happening, because when I'm out of the room, I don't even know if I'm still able to hear me. John, there's macaroni. Did you heat it up? Yeah. Okay. Okay. We have about 14 minutes left, and I don't see too many new messages here. Hopefully you hear me talking out there. Lisa has a couple more comments. I reported them by the National Child Trafficking for suspicious activity. Honoris, do you think I'll get in trouble? No, you won't. You shouldn't. And you said you're anonymous, so I know what you meant there. Hello, Jessica. Warm welcome. So glad you came back to the room. And then we have hello goes out to Cruel Do Trick. I have no idea. I forgot where you're from, Jessica. And Cruel Trick, I forgot too. And we have Faye from Richmond, Kentucky in the room. And then we also have Leica Hertzberg from South Africa. Can this program of yours be broadcast on television? Sure. It's a podcast. It's YouTube video. If you can see YouTube video, you can look it up. All you do is type in the name Bob Pace or Fight CPS. I have over 700 shows on YouTube that have been recorded. So you'll find a lot of my shows that talk about everything. So they are on television. It's a worldwide podcast. And, you're hearing the shows as much as I'm hearing it too and stuff. So you have to hang in there, because it is a very hard subject to talk about with people. And this leaves me about 12 minutes left of the podcast. And let me see here. Sure. If YouTube can be broadcast anywhere, it's a YouTube video. So TV will play YouTube videos. Your computer will play YouTube videos. You just go to youtube.com. You enter your name in there. You just type in Bob Pace, Fight CPS, or Fight CPS with Bob Pace, and you'll find over 700 videos of mine that you can view. So we have a new person here called Zach. And I want to welcome Zach. Let's see where Zach is from. What I want to know, is there a way to put the school on notice they can't interview our children without the attorney present? A CPS worker and a chief are both state workers. That's a conflict. I agree with you. When you fill out the emergency card, they ask you, it very clearly states who your child can be picked up by and who they can talk to. And if you don't want them to talk to, you have to put that on the emergency record that you turn in. It's done every year at the beginning of the school year. You turn in this record and you put down who they can see or talk to. And you can put down there they cannot talk to the police or they cannot talk to the social workers. So thank you for sharing that with me, Zach. That was nice of you doing that. I love all the stuff you guys share with me, so it's really, really good. Now, Lisa is saying something more here. See what Lisa is saying. What they need to go to SABC so they can show it on normal television like once a week, so all South Africans can see it. Well, I don't know who regulates your SABC. That's probably the South Africa Broadcasting System. And YouTube, there is a permission you have to use with YouTube. So you got to be careful there. So check it out with your police and also the South Africa Broadcasting Service. You got to check that out there too. Zach says something else too. I'm sorry, Zach. I probably missed there. West Virginia. All right. Welcome, Zach from West Virginia. So we have a really good cross-reference of people. So thank you for answering that question, Zach. So I have about 9 minutes left. And again, I want to thank Faye, who's just listening tonight from Kentucky. I have Zach from West Virginia. I've Leica Herzenberg from South Africa, from the southern part of South Africa, the Cape Town area on the south end of it. And then I have Cruel and Do Trick. And then, of course, Jessica, and see who else. Faye Manley, already had Leica, already talked about it. Okay, trying a hard time to read. It's probably because it's late at night here. So anyway, my show is coming to a close here tonight. It's Sunday night here in California, and I really appreciate all my listeners and all the emojis that you do. And yes, people, we must do something. I agree with you. Like you have to go to your parliament. We need to go to our Congress. And then here's a person, a family voice, son heard. Hi, Bob. It's Happy Feet. Yay. I know who Happy Feet is. Sorry it's been a while, but wanted to stop by and say hello. I'm glad you did, Happy Feet. You're welcome, Happy Feet. And I forgot where you're from, Happy Feet. If you could share that with me, that'd be great. Happy Feet's been on our show several times right there. And so I'm glad to see her back. Happy Feet is back. And I'm glad for the thumbs up and the hearts, you know. I love to have those hearts and the thumbs up. And I really appreciate what you do and everything. I want you all to have a good night. And I want you to still keep fighting with your children. Still keep them. Keep fighting CPS. And what you need to do is do not give up. Your family comes first. Try to maintain all your children and so forth. And I really regret that the most horrible thing is to be treated like CPS. It's so unhumanity and it's so bad. It is so bad. So without further ado here, I'm going to have to go tonight. I'm going to sign off with Mr. Davis's speech about coming up on his foster care show. But I want to thank you all for listening. God bless y'all. Do not give up the fight. keep fighting and fighting. Do not give up. And this is Bob Pace. Yes, prayer. Don't forget prayer. I agree with you. Bob Pace signing off. God bless you.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.